if you're an attorney now and you're saying like I want more and better marketing, no, that's not just hiring a good marketer. That's like you making a commitment to contribute to the content schedule, which is hard.
Sharp strategies, sweet success.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is Tiffany Swedensky, and you're listening to Sharp Strategy, Sweet Success. Today, I am talking with somebody I've known for quite a while, but I haven't spoken to in a while, which is Amy May. I first met Amy through GLM, and we were trying to remember exactly which event it was when we opened the call. But definitely met her and one of the law firms that she works for, Scott Snelling's. And she was part of the marketing director mastermind that I did at GLM and has her own media company, marketing and media company called May Media. And I see those guys, or I see you all post quite often on Instagram, which is really neat. And I invited Amy on the show today because she's somebody who's been doing marketing for a long time, certainly knows the legal marketing space, and just generally wanted to catch up with her and see what's new in her world for sure. Amy, could you tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
For sure. Thanks for having me on. I I own May Media, and we are a digital marketing agency. We do full full agency marketing, whatever you need. And right now, we're just really excited about all the things going on in the marketing industry, and we're having a great time.
So I guess my first question is like tell me a little bit about like what are some of the new things that you guys are doing now that maybe you weren't doing, 5 or 6 years ago when we first met?
Okay. We're definitely doing a lot more video, planning, writing scripts, editing, that sort of thing. My youngest son graduated from college a few years ago, and he kind of took that on and grew it as a part of my media. And he's having a great time with that and very intuitive. And we're always really just studying the different formulas and algorithms on all of the different social media platforms. And I think that everything has just grown into be a lot more complicated than it was 6 years ago, even the SEO. And, 6 years ago, we weren't as concerned about AI, right? And now we're deep in on AI, all of us learning and studying and using it in many, many different tools. And I love to learn. And so I get really excited about that. And so it's a new direction. But definitely 6 years ago, I was not as worried about AI overviews and ranking in SGE and that sort of thing. Definitely a big player in our world today.
So you mentioned social media platforms and like studying the algorithms. What platforms do you push your attorneys to go on to?
So we stick mostly with I think you use TikTok a little bit. We don't stress TikTok as much. We focus on Instagram and Facebook and then some LinkedIn if we're working with that legal firm as referral programs. If we're really working on building the referral network, then we also focus heavily on LinkedIn. If it's more, just a regular audience, it also depends where their audience is, right? And which part of their audience we're trying to hit with which strategy. So sometimes there's part of our audience is heavier over here on Instagram, where in other situations it's over here on Facebook. So just hitting all of the different platforms according to A, the strategy, B, the goal, and C, just trying to make sure every avenue is being, hit on a regular basis.
Are you trying to get your attorneys to record video? How's that part of your strategy?
That part of our strategy was difficult, and some days it feels painful. But we're in a lot better space. I remember when we first started with Scott trying to record, it was really hard to get Scott to record and stay up to date. But now we can't stop him. Like and we're able to also reuse parts of the podcast and other videos. And, we have a lot more to work with now than we did when we started. I find getting the attorneys just to stop, pause, and do the video is difficult. I will say though that we started about a year ago offering a recording platform for them, and where they can go in, we can have their scripts uploaded, everything ready to go. All they have to do is click the link, record, and then it sends us a message and our team takes over with the editing and getting everything out. That tool has been great in getting our attorneys to record. It really increased the volume we're getting from them and the regularity. And I think that's because they get notifications that it's time to record. So it kind of bugs them until they actually record. So I think that's helped as well.
Have you ever tried HeyGen or HiGen or basically AI videos? Um,
We have looked at it and kind of done some testing and playing around with it. We have not gone down that road yet. I think someday we might, but right now, my concern is that an attorney needs to have a transparent presence. And I feel like doing an AI video isn't them and authentic. And so, just personally, I've had a hard time pushing that because I feel like it's not as transparent or just, I don't know, authentic. So, sometimes they look a little weird, and I don't know, it just hasn't quite yet been something we've jumped on that wagon.
well, and I have a lot to say about this topic, so if I start rambling, just feel free to cut
No,
me off.
go. I love to hear your opinion.
Well, one, I posted, I generated some AI headshots of me because I don't have any good recent pictures of me speaking, but I've definitely spoken from the stage. So, I just needed some pictures like that.
Right.
And, in the process, I created just like a bunch of photos, just to see how they look. One of them was me, like, just really fit, like flat abs, like crazy. I posted that in my stories, and I think I hope only one person was fooled, and it was my mom. And my mom's
Okay.
pretty gullible. I explained to her when I was 8 years old that unicorns weren't real. She thought were an animal that had gone extinct, just to give you a picture of how her mind works. So she was fooled, but surely nobody else was, because I mean, obviously these things are AI when you look at them. And I received like an AI video the other day from a salesperson,
Mhm.
and I'm sure I don't know if you've seen those or seen videos like those, but it's AI, but they're mentioning your name, they're like talking about, what they know about you. And it just felt so inauthentic because it was immediately obvious it was AI. I mean, the lips weren't syncing right. And even
Right.
if I don't know if there's a way currently for them to make it real enough that I can just like I can tell like, this is fake. And it
Mhm.
it does the opposite of enhances, my experience,
Mhm.
and these people are selling like a high value product like attorneys are. And so it's like, okay, you're trying to sell me, I know you're going to make money off my case. I know you're going to make money off my company, whatever the situation is. And you're sending me this poorly produced AI video, like I'm almost like, screw you. I'm not going to buy from you.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
they're bad. They don't look good. Yeah.
No, they don't. And it just misses the mark on so many ways. But like you said, why would you want me to pay high dollar for this platform when it looks terrible? I mean, it's just, yeah. And I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it has its place in the world. I'm not sure what that place is, but I don't think it's in the realm of what our agency's working on, right? Um, but I'm big on transparency and authenticity. And so I agree with you 100%. It's just, it's not there yet. Someday it might be. It's just not yet. So,
Yeah.
on a different note, have you done like the non video podcasts where it's just an audio on Notebook LM?
So I'm recently started or used Notebook LM to do. Well, I only really tested it for one thing. I only recently learned about it.
Mhm.
For the most part, our podcasts are like this one is recorded with video, and we also do the audio cuts.
Right.
or like audio only for Spotify. And for most of my clients, I'm trying to get them behind the camera, so I don't want them to take shortcuts. Um,
Right.
but how does a notebook how would that help with like can you make a podcast just from that?
So you can, but it's only audio. So there's no video with it. And what it does is, I feel like you would have to, when you uploaded this, you would need to notate this is an AI produced podcast, right? But I uploaded some marketing materials that one of our clients, we had done for one of them, and we had this campaign out. And I uploaded all the materials for it and asked Notebook LM to create a podcast. And it was two people, a man and a woman. Now they have three voices instead of two. And they were all talking about the attorney and what they learned from his marketing materials, and their like their opinions on it and everything. It was incredible. I mean, I sat there blown away for 12 minutes listening to this AI generated podcast that was phenomenal. Again, it didn't have video, so that was okay though. But yeah, I mean, I just think that everything is going in such a direction that I'm always excited to see what's next. And some of it's not things I would put out yet, but I'm just watching the development and seeing what the future holds. So,
You know, when I think about these things, like would I watch an AI podcast, would I read an AI book? Um, I guess I would if it was, good and like if somebody was like, you gotta listen to this AI podcast, right? It's crazy, it's really good. Like the content is good, not just that it's
right,
impressive that it's AI.
right.
Um, and I guess part of my enjoyment of reading a book is I get knowing somebody wrote it, or like listening to a podcast is like knowing this real person's thoughts. I feel like I would lose interest if I knew it wasn't authentically that person, even if it was just them, repeating stuff that they've already said.
Mhm,
Um, so I don't know. That's my reaction to it. Like I don't know how the marketplace will accept AI content.
mhm.
Um, and I'm curious to see how that goes. Because like my daughter, like I had told you before, she's 15. Like she just hates it. Like she sees, like I was showing her my AI photos and she was like, that is so stupid. Like she just detests it.
Mhm.
And she's like the part of that next generation, and her and her friends that I've talked to are just not into it.
Yeah.
And it seems like the people who are super fascinated with it are business people and marketing people. And we're all kind of in our own little bubbles and end up talking about it a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and yeah, I don't like the fake look. I'm with your daughter. I don't like the fake look of the images and the video and stuff like that it produces. They're just weird, really weird. But I do love a lot of the tools and a lot of the things, and just mastering prompts that help analyze data and organize content and things like that. I think when used right, it's a very powerful tool that saves time.
Oh yeah,
So,
for sure. Yeah.
yeah.
It's super handy when like doing analysis and you can put your data in a spreadsheet, upload a spreadsheet and say like, I need you to pick this out, do this. This morning I took one of my clients' LinkedIn post for the last 6 months, trimmed it down to the ones that did really good and put it in a spreadsheet with the data, gave it to ChatGPT and basically said write a prompt. Or technically I was making like a GPT, so write system instructions of a LinkedIn ghostwriter who will repeat the style, tone, and format of Jason's LinkedIn post. And I also tell it like, this is who Jason is. I give him my take on, the client, which I already said is Jason. Um, and just who I think he is, what his personality is. And then, you know, create the GPT and then prompt it with the post I want it to write. And then at the end, we get a really good LinkedIn post that people really seem to want to engage with a good hook. I mean, we always have to like format it to take out the dashes, which is like weirdest bug of ChatGPT. Like I don't know why it loads those dashes. But But yeah, it's super useful and very, niche use cases or many use cases really. Um, it's just I think a lot of people are like, do we really want to watch AI video? Do we think other people will want to watch our AI video of our personal injury attorney talking about why full coverage isn't really full coverage? I don't know. We'll see. Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah, I think it can be tested, but and I really believe over time it'll get better. Like I think the quality of the image and things will get better on video and on photos, but I don't think it's there quite yet. So, but yeah, it's always fun to test and see. Have you put any out yet? Have you put any videos out like that? The AI ones?
So, I've tested it to some degree with all of my attorneys who are hesitant to make video, which is all of them. And, some of them get on board quicker than others. Usually, I feel like there's like a process the attorneys go through. Like one, me telling them you have to make more video and them accepting that. And then
Yeah,
two, rinse and reuse. We'll just find YouTube videos that we can get clips of. That's stage one.
right.
Stage two is like, well, can we get the other attorneys? Can we ask them to help us make video? And that's stage two. Stage three, usually the last stage, is like, well, let's try AI. Before I block off 2 hours each week, let's try AI. And then they see it and see how, I guess, unnatural it looks. And then finally, that's either when we have to accept that they're not going to record video or they usually commit to it. So there's like I don't know, almost like a stages of grief that they go through before they finally get to the point of recording video.
Yeah, that's very accurate. Yeah, I agree completely. A thought, an AI generated video might threaten them enough to get out there. Oh no, she's going to put that out. Okay, I'll go do that because I look silly in that. In that, so that might be a tool to like. Okay, I'm going to put this out there. If you don't,
And it works really well when you're getting delayed feedback. It's like we're just going to publish it, all right? If you're not going to look at it, we're just going to roll with it. Um, Fortunately, I don't have to do that as much these days. What earlier in my career when I had less marketing experience, the bosses want to look over your shoulder. But now, like, I'm the one who has to look over the shoulders, and that's like that kind of sucks. But um, so but thankfully the attorneys don't give me. I'm not usually waiting on the attorneys for anything except for logins, two-factor authentication codes, and video. Those
yeah,
are things that I can never get from them for some reason.
right, right. I think that's kind of a pretty typical thing. Although I get logins, it's just whether they're the right login. Like I get here's my login, and I try and log in. I'm like, no, the password was changed 6 months ago. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to reset that. So I get that a lot. But I do feel like they're getting better about video. I do feel like most of them that we work with are getting better about it. But yeah, it's still getting them in that rhythm. If we can get them in that rhythm and routine, and like I said, the platform we're using now to help with that seems to be working to that end to get them reminded on a regular basis and get them in their recording. So
And just get time blocked off. And I mean, honestly, I sympathize because like it's a struggle for me too. Like Fridays, I try to make Fridays a day where I'll sit down and record like a few TikToks. Otherwise, my TikTok channel is mostly these clips, right? But it's so hard to block off that time, like when you have a ton of stuff going on, you have meetings all week, you're finally, for me, Fridays are a no meeting day, so I'm able to sit down and get some work done. I'm not thinking about recording a TikTok video that seems so silly to do when there's so many important things to do. And I'm sure it's doubly worse for an attorney because I'm just worried about marketing for them. They were actually worried about their clients' cases. So it,
right.
it definitely doesn't seem like a high value thing to do
Hmm.
given their responsibilities. So I sympathize. But, it is when you want more marketing and when you're telling your marketing directors like we need to do more of this and we need to do better of it, there's almost nothing better than their faces on the screen, their personalities, doing podcasts, all the cool stuff that they can do.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's just like there's almost no substitute. So if you're an attorney now and you're saying like I want more and better marketing, no, that's not just hiring a good marketer. That's like you making a commitment to contribute to the content schedule, which is hard. Yeah.
It is. Yeah. No, I'm the same. And there's not a lot of video out there for me because that exact thing. Fridays are also a no meeting day for me. And so I dig in and I just push and push and push back and never get it done. So it's definitely on my list to be better about. I just haven't got to that list yet. So
It's a yeah, it's a tough thing, and you also need editors, which it's easier now that more and more people are finding offshore editors or freelance editors who can come in and do these kind of things. You almost need it full time though if you're going to commit to like a podcast each week, TikTok video each day, a YouTube video each
mhm.
week. Well, speaking of which, since I brought that up, so, and I haven't talked with anyone very much about it recently, but I'm starting to hear a lot about it. YouTube.
Mhm.
Are you guys doing like a lot of YouTube marketing right now? Do you have like plans that you follow, or is it kind of like what I'm doing right now, just a little ad hoc?
We're doing a lot of YouTube stuff. And yes, we're doing marketing on YouTube. And yes, we're running paid ads on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
So, and getting phenomenal results. We can get better results for a little less money on YouTube. And so, and in real transparently, Mason's the one who heads that up. And so I can't even give you a whole lot of detail about it, but definitely getting great results. And especially as people are going to, they go to YouTube now. They don't go to a television station. So we're having people who would be putting that money into things like TV and radio. We're putting it into YouTube ads instead, and it's being a good return.
Um, wow, that's pretty neat. That are you guys? So you're doing it paid and you're doing it organically.
Mhm.
What? How often are you all posting a video?
It depends on a client completely, how much content we have. With Scott, we have a lot on YouTube, and with other ones, we have, Michael gets us most of the time, if he's not in court, a good amount of videos per month. And so we get those onto different ones, do different volumes. And so, and it always seems like court slows down the process a little bit. So there are definitely peaks and valleys in each client. We actually have like videos that we have them do strictly for ads. And then we have videos that are regular organic content that we aren't putting money behind. So we're doing both ways and just trying to keep that balance and setting goals for growth for followers, subscribers on YouTube, and just watches and watch time, always evaluating the watch time and how far into it are people watching? Are they cutting off in a certain spot and why? And, working with those clients to change that to keep people engaged longer for the videos. So those are kind of some of our goals always. So we kind of try to script and control which ones we're using on ads so that we get, better results on them.
We're just, well, I don't want to say we're just getting started with YouTube because I think in some capacity for all of our clients, we have been doing YouTube. Like if we get a video of a certain length, we'll post it either as like a regular YouTube video or we're also doing like the shorts, which we're basically sharing what we share on TikTok and Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And getting into more like the metrics and analytics of it all because I have a few attorneys who are serious and committed, and I know that
Mm-hmm.
they can record those long term form videos on a regular clip. And so and all the things that you mentioned, like getting into watch time, we're trying to create two specific like veins of content or pillars of content. One that's more evergreen, addressing FAQ questions, and then others that are more for like entertainment,
Right.
where we could potentially like get subscribers and followers. Because like I don't I don't have a lot of confidence in a YouTube channel that's only FAQ content. Like I feel like you do need to like put some work into making it, watchable for somebody who's not recently been in a car accident, if you want those subscribers or followers, because, the audience of everyone is much bigger and much more likely to engage than, just specifically the people who have been recently injured.
Right.
Um, and yeah, so it's definitely fascinating. It almost seems like YouTube or Google is diminishing in importance while YouTube and TikTok and some of these others, or ChatGPT, obviously are gaining. And it's nice to see for the first time in like since as long as I've been working in legal marketing, the scales tip to where Google is suddenly not the most important thing and all these other things are, and it's kind of fun now. Um,
Right.
Definitely love that part of it.
Yes, it's definitely, and it's exciting when you see leads come in from Chat GPT, and we've all been like, okay, do we add Chat GPT as a lead source then? Because we don't know what to label these. So anyway, that's been kind of fun too, just watching the results roll in, and so I love that, and that's our goal, right? Get the leads in the door. And so it's been fun. I get pretty excited pretty easily about these things. So, but yeah, just seeing them come up and actually get a phone call, and a lead and sign cases from leads that came through Chat GPT is pretty exciting because that's, like you said, it's tipping the balance, right? It's not always Google anymore. It's this or that. So that and YouTube, we get leads in from YouTube, and that's exciting too because I think the attorneys especially find that rewarding when, we're pushing, pushing, pushing for the content. And then they actually sign good cases from that. And then they're like, oh, yeah, now I see. So,
Yeah, it's really nice when I guess for the more bottom of the funnel type things like YouTube, like search, I feel like it's easier attorneys get more excited about these things because there's reinforcement. They're you invest money in local service ads and you sign 5 cases on it. It's just that immediate positive reinforcement. And, like Pavlov's dog, you're giving him a treat and they want to do it again. And
yeah,
that tends to be the bottom of the funnel stuff because that's where people convert. But it's a little bit more of an uphill battle talking to them about community programs or like maybe even videos sometimes because these things don't immediately convert people into clients. And so it doesn't really have that positive reinforcement that makes
right,
people feel like this is important. But it is
right.
still important, it's just more
Yeah,
top of the funnel and doesn't convert, directly, which, happens in marketing.
right, right. It does. It does. We try to really work everything as well towards referrals. We work pretty heavily on referral programs as well. So that kind of ties into and capturing in that broader sense, capturing some of those people for future referral business as well, getting them LinkedIn.
So, do you guys have like a specific like program or process you try to follow for LinkedIn, or are you just trying to get them to post every day? Anything special y'all are doing?
So, most of the time, yes, I'd love it if they post every day, but on their personal pages, I want at least once or twice a week, and then on their company pages, we're kind of trying to do content, 3 to 5 times a week if we can. So it depends on what we have to work with and limitations just on getting information from them sometimes. But the personal pages seem to be harder than the company pages. And so you were talking about using Chat GPT earlier. I've done that for personal LinkedIn pages as well. So I'll give kudos to Scott. He does his own LinkedIn personal page and he does a great job. He really worked hard to master that and he does really well with it. But many other attorneys are not doing as much. So some of them I do help with their personal. page.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's kind of a mixed bag on my end as well because I have some clients who just want some coaching from me. It's like, how do you do this right? Do you have
Yes.
examples and do you have, and I send them what I have and that's it, and then they want to do it themselves. That's great for me because I still get paid. Um,
Right.
but then, I have other clients who, getting a 3-minute video from them once a month might be like pulling teeth and they're busy, if they're still small, maybe they don't have huge support staff.
Mhm.
So, we'll rate their LinkedIn post and usually like talk to them a little bit, get ideas for a few things to write about and, rip and let it go.
Yeah.
And I'll say as far as like personal LinkedIn pages though, if you really want to connect with people, you have to put, I guess, I don't know, like telling ChatGPT, like, write me a LinkedIn post about how insurance companies suck. It's so vague. It's gonna write you something real vague, real generic. You
Mhm.
have to come to these things like with a point, and that's how my prompts usually start. Write a LinkedIn post about full sentence, the full point of the post, and then 2 or 3 more paragraphs giving it examples, details, information I want it to know to hit the right points.
Mhm.
It creates a post and then I edit it because it's never perfect on its own. And
Right.
usually small edits, but I still edit it. And then it goes out. And it's I still remember, and you probably do too. I still remember when we were writing sales emails by hand and writing LinkedIn posts by hand. It's
Right.
definitely, easier and smoother to do, but it's also not like automated, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. I love getting ideas from Chat GPT, and I love like getting like outlines and things like that, and putting in all my data. These are all the strategies I want to use this month. These are all the goals. This is, the theme, blah blah blah, and getting that. But yes, everything has to be edited. You can't really, but it still saves a lot of time. Just you know triggering ideas and getting a start on things. Or sometimes I just put in what I wrote and say, can you please rewrite this, blah, 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 and tell it why I want it rewritten and that sort of thing. And it'll take what I wrote and rewrite it. And I love that too.
Other than ChatGPT and AI in general, like what other tools are you using these days?
We still use Adobe a lot, believe it or not. And part of that's in video, and part of it is, in design and stuff like that. Illustrator, InDesign, Photoshop. Those are, the three core ones plus Premiere Pro for video editing. We do a lot of Adobe. Um, our our team uses Canva for social media graphics because simply saves time. You can resize and change out the image, but still keep the brand for all the different platforms. It works. So we use it. Um, and then, just managing projects in our team, we use Monday.com. We could not survive without Monday.com. It is, we're in and out of, it's just a constant. It's like our Bible each day. It tells us exactly how our day is going to go, what needs to be done. I can look at, a bird's eye view and see everybody is on task to complete tasks, or where are we struggling? Who do I need to go support? That sort of thing. And it's an amazing tool. So we use that a lot. But that's, like I said, project management. Each of our clients has a workspace, and we're able to do all the custom boards to them. And so that's a big tool. Trying to think. We're using quite a few AI tools. And then, like I said, the video platform we're using where we can send links with scripts and all the things, and all they have to do is press record, click the link and record, and they can re-record all they want to, and then we get it back and we can edit it. So those, trying to think if there's anything super exciting we're using that I'm not thinking of or the name of. So yeah. How about you?
So, you mentioned Canva, which I mean we use that. I mean, not me personally, but my team does. And I think about it every now and then, but when Canva first came out, I was just like, oh, I bristled at it because like I can make
I
a
did
nice
too.
creative. I don't need Canva. And then like, a couple years down the road, it's just like, oh my God, it's such a time saver. Why did I clutch my pearls? Yeah, it's for social media posts. I mean, for a lot of stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's just so easy for like simple image graphics, like I
Yeah.
mean, graphic designers are still really important, and a professional graphic designer is going to do better than Canva, I think, by and
Right.
large.
Right.
But you don't need like a freelance graphic designer. I mean, you can just button click some, pick a template, and it's good.
Right.
I love Canva so much. I mean, you hit on a lot of them. I was gonna say, like a month ago, I was like, I've been using Trello back since my GLM days. We were going
Yes.
through project management softwares and we landed on that, and I was like, this is my favorite. I just liked it the most. But I was getting ready to switch away from it. I was thinking about moving to Notion actually,
Mm-hmm.
because Notion integrates with this particular program that I was looking at using to create dashboards, right?
Right.
And then yesterday, I mean, I don't know what day this will air, but the day before we recorded this, Trello came out with a new update, and now they have this feature that if I forward an email to my Trello board, it will just like instantly take like an email with two sentences from one of my clients and transform it into a project card with action items, with attachments, with a description. And I was blown away. And I've done
Wow.
similar stuff using Zapier and ChatGPT. I love to connect those and, run some
Right.
automations. But, this Trello update, I was like, this is better than I could make. And I really, really like it. I actually may stick with it. Um,
Yeah.
but, Monday is always a big one. That's always a big
Yeah.
contender.
Yeah. And we used to use Trello. It just wasn't staying up with where we were. And it just got to be too much. Like we had too much to manage to make it happen there. And so that's why we switched. And back in the day, I used Trello all the time and I loved it. But that's cool that they're getting caught up, being able to do some things that help you. So I love that. So, but Monday, it's kind of like spreadsheets that talk to us, right? It tells us things, it reminds us things, and we have zaps that take things from like inquiries from our website automatically get put into monday.com, and it becomes a task for us to respond, that sort of thing. It's really cool. But yeah, it's nice when you can automate something that comes in on an email into your platform. And but Trello has always been a solid platform. We just kind of, I guess, outgrew it and needed some features it didn't offer. So
I don't know. I just never had any issues with it. The only thing that I've struggled with of late is when I'm running, like if I have a project card, for a while, what I was doing is if I left a comment, Trello would send the message to Zapier, and I have Zapier and ChatGPT review it, create action items, and add those action items to that card. And Trello
right,
had a pesky issue where if I had a bunch of attachments on a project card, like videos or images, this app would just stop. And then I've been having issues with it over the last few weeks, and I was like, you know what? I mean, well, let's switch from this. Let's go to Notion. We already use Notion for like employee management and stuff like that.
mhm,
Um, but then they rolled out the new thing, and just yesterday, and I'm like, well, finally, this is nice.
yeah, yeah,
So I don't know. I like it, right? I like it. I think I'm gonna stick with it. I don't know. The lure of a new project management board is always kind of hard to overcome for sure.
yeah. I think that's one of the reasons that we went to monday.com. We manage HR, we manage leads, and all the whole sales process. If we're working with onboarding a new client, there's so many different templates and workflows we can trigger. And it's just great to be able to have it all automated right there, and just it makes the onboarding process smoother because we know exactly what we need and whether it's there or not, and automatically go to the next step. And it's been really great for us as well for proofing, especially if more than one person is editing or proofing. It just kind of has simplified our process and automated it, just uh, all in one place, where Trello, we just weren't being able to do everything in one place, it seemed like. So,
Wow.
but I do love Trello. So,
Wow. I think, yeah, the Notion is the one that just keeps calling my name, but it's also like every time I look at it, I'm reminded of, I think, Wikipedia or something. I don't know. It reminds me of an old program that I used to have problems with, and I just need to get past that prejudice because my team uses it. So when my team, when they're done for the day, they send me a Notion, sheet which lists everything that they worked on that day. And, that's really useful. And we do some other like internal stuff on Notion. It's just for, marketing projects, in particular. We've just been using Trello for a long time. I'm gonna keep using it until it pisses me off, and that's probably what's gonna
I,
happen.
yeah, I understand. Been there. So, definitely. And there's a lot of great programs out there. And I just always loved Trello, but I'm I'm sold on Monday. I love that I can check to see who has bandwidth too. I can see, I can check and see what's Jordan's bandwidth today, what's Ron's bandwidth today, what's Aaron's. I can go and check everybody's bandwidth based on what their project statuses are at just one glance, and know, can I tap into her for this? Can I get him to do this? To speed up a process I'm working on or something. So it's that's probably my favorite thing, is that I can see where everybody's at and who needs help and who doesn't, and who can help me on something extra. So I love it.
Yeah. Um, well, I guess we're a little bit over time, but that's fine. I don't know. It's the only I have the only other thing I have on my list for today actually is I have to write a few articles, which will go pretty quick. But anyway, so my last question I like to ask, was there anything that we didn't get to or that we touched on that you'd like to talk more about for your wrap up?
Gosh, we covered a lot of fun things. I know when we get going, we could go for another hour or two, probably. So there's probably many more things we could cover, but no, I think AI things, and what platforms you're using, just that sort of thing, was great. That's always a fun concept to talk about. So.
Well, I appreciate you being on the podcast with me today, Amy. So if you want people to learn more about you, where do you want them to go?
Probably to our website, maymedia.com, and all of our social handles are linked there. They can find us on, whichever platform they want to find us on, and follow us there, or send us a inquiry on the website and we'll give them a shout. And that's really the easiest way to find our Calendly, to find all of our social handles, or email us, is from the website.
Well, thank you so much again, and look forward to having you join another time.
Okay, well,
See you
thank
soon.
you for having me on. I appreciate it. Enjoyed it.
Bye, guys.